portions, which are what?
Cochlea.
The cochlea, which is for what? Hearing. And then we have, what are these? Semicircular canals, and that's kind of obvious, right? Yeah. And then the vestibule's in the center, the vestibule. And the semicircular canals and the vestibule is for what?
Equilibrium.
Balance and equilibrium, right. So this yellow portion, this pale yellow portion, is what? The bony labyrinth. I know we just went over this today. The bony labyrinth or the osseous labyrinth, right? Okay. Osseous labyrinth or bony labyrinth. And I'll take either one.
The yellow, what did you say the outer part is called the osseous labyrinth?
Yes. Or the bony labyrinth. Osseous means bone. So I would take either answer, of course. Now, what fluid is inside the bony labyrinth?
The pyramid labyrinth.
What was that?
I know it starts with a P.
Starts with P.
Perilymph.
Okay.
Peri. Remember, peri's always in the middle. P-E-R-I. Perilymph.
Perilymph is okay.
And then we have another labyrinth system inside the bony labyrinth, and it's this blue one. What is that labyrinth system?
The membranous.
The membranous labyrinth, which is inside the bony labyrinth, protected by the bony labyrinth. And what is this? What's inside the membranous labyrinth? Endolymph. Right, the endolymph, right? And the membranous labyrinth is actually suspended in the perilymph. It's suspended in there. Okay? And then, let's see, what else do we need to know? Okay, so you know the cochlea, the organ of Corti is where the actual hearing receptors are, right? Do I have anything else on there that I didn't go over? For the inner ear, this is the inner ear. No, that's it for the inner ear.
Vestibule? Oh yeah, did you go over that?
Yeah, the vestibule is in the middle, and that's between the semicircular. It's next to the semicircular canals, and that does balance and equilibrium. Both of them together do balance and equilibrium. We didn't go over the details of how that really works, but it was a lot in one day. Okay, now we have. So what is this called? The outer ear, right? What is this? Lobule, right? And then what is this?
The
external. I know it's inside, but because it's the outer ear, the outer part, it's the external. So it's the external acoustic or auditory meatus.
I was trying to think of the other name you said.
Auditory canal.
Yeah.
Auditory canal, but don't get confused because this is the auditory tube or the eustachian tube, right? Okay, so here is, what is this? Let's open this up. What is this right here?
The eardrum?
The eardrum, tympanic membrane, right? The tympanic membrane.
Is the eardrum?
Tympanic membrane and eardrum are the same thing, yes. So now we're moving into what cavity is this? Here. From here to here. Like, what is this? This middle, right. So what's the main things that are in the middle canal? The three bones, right? What are they called? Malleus, incus, stapes, right? So the malleus is first, and the malleus is directly connected to the tympanic membrane. So the sound waves travel in, right? They vibrate the tympanic membrane, which is your eardrum. It vibrates the malleus because it's connected, and then the vibrations travel through the incus, and then through to the stapes, which is here. And then the stapes is connected to the inner ear via what? What's that called right here? The oval window, right. So the sound travels in the ear here, vibrates all of our little bones in the middle ear, and you should definitely know the difference between the three bones. And then it vibrates against the oval window, which then in turn sends the vibrations through the fluid, through the cochlea, which has the hearing receptors, and that's what sends signals out through the cochlear nerve. And the cochlear nerve is part of what? Which cranial nerve? Vestibular cochlear, which is cranial nerve number what? 8. Which also innervates the, not just the cochlea, but it also innervates the semicircular canals and vestibule like complex. So it does not, the cranial nerve 8 does not only hearing, but it does what? Balance and equilibrium, right? Right. So you might see some of this guy, and again, this is just this. Smaller. So all we're looking at is this outside portion, which is what?
The osseous.
The what?
Oh, I thought you were
The whole
that.
outside. The osseous labyrinth, right, or the bony labyrinth, right? When you can't see the the inside labyrinth. So those are structures that you're going to have to identify with the ear, but that's pretty easy, right? Any questions? Anything? Anybody not understanding that? Because that's
Tell me,
not bad.
tympanic membrane is the same as what again?
Eardrum.
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 Yeah. Tympanic membrane is the correct terminology. Or the anatomical term, I guess I should say. Eardrum is like a layman's term.